It must be 5 a.m. somewhere out in the greater East Coast on this lovely Friday, the 11th day of September of 2021. I'm your host, Brandon Hardison, president of Champion Strategies, with another Hardison'S tip for today. We do this for all of our brothers and sisters in the vertical of sales, whether it's major account, key account, up and down the street, in home sales, retail sales, or automotive sales. All week, we've been focusing in on team solution selling, and focusing in on the most important person, your receptionist. So we just want to give you the final one for the week. And I know you're dressing, I know you're trying to get ready, and we want you to have a good Friday, but let's get into it. Phone etiquette. Phone etiquette. We've heard of that before, but think about the people who are phoning in. Ways that we need to properly address those callers. Does addressing callers be confusing to especially a new receptionist because of the many options available? It helps to be aware of your company's policies, use that as a guideline. If you know who's calling, then it's polite to address the caller properly by his or her title. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Good afternoon, Miss Sanders. But sometimes we forget these small little things. We want you to be professional. So be their professional titles as doctors or professors. Please address them that way. They spent many years of earning that, getting those alphas before their names. Address it. How about addressing people by their first name? Never address an unfamiliar caller by his first or her first name. However, occasionally the caller will refer to themselves by the first name only. And in that case, it can be appropriate to call them by their first name. I will just add into it, if you got a first name, just ask, last name, please. And now we have first and last name, and you simply need to ask, how would you prefer me to call you? You see, as adults, male or female, such as Mr., Ms., Mrs., these Sir adult names need to always be consistent. Ma'am, madam, Mr., yes, ma'am, and sir are words of respect and still can be used when appropriate. And like I stated earlier, if you get a Ms., or even if you do not, the last name is important. Now, while on the call, we have all of these lines ringing. We need to know how to manage the calls. You're off to a great start by learning how to professionally greet the caller with your courteous, positive, upbeat, polite attitude. You're ready to show your customer that you care, because buyers don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. However, you handled your customer's request, and it's going to determine how your customer will remember you and your organization. So, how about thinking about this? Give your customer your full, undivided attention by actively listening to their requests without interrupting. The ability to listen is a problem in general, but it's very important to listen to what the caller has to say. After you get what they want, please summarize what the customer requested, whether that's taking a good message or looking up some information. It's always a good habit to respect the information so we repeat it back. And when the client hears that you're repeating it back, verifying that's what you just did. And now they're feeling a little bit better about you representing their company. Now, interact throughout the call by building rapport, adding a personal touch. Always keep the customer informed by explaining what you're going to do next with that call. Say something like, it'll take just a minute for me to bring up your account. Would you please hold? Nothing like saying, how are you doing today, this afternoon, this evening? Goes a long way. Be patient and helpful. If a caller is irritated, upset, listen to what they have to say and emphasize empathy. Make sure that they know that you're feeling their pain. Statements such as, I understand how you're feeling right now. I will get this resolved as soon as possible. Never snap back, never act rule. Just tell them what you're going to do. Always focus on the call. Try not to get distracted by people around you. If someone tries to interrupt while you're on the call, politely remind them that you are on a call with the customer. If there's somebody standing in front of you, just give them a gesture. I'll be with you in a minute. But we pay thousands. Your owners, your general managers pay money for that call. That call is important, the most important. Now, when we have to park a customer, putting a customer on hold, there's many reasons you may need to put them on hold because it's not always possible in today's busy work climate to be able to locate the correct person right then or find the information the caller needs immediately. So, also being placed on hold tends to be frustrating and unproductive time for many callers. So, handling the situation with care is extremely important. Here's some things to think of when you run into that situation. Always ask for permission. Always ask for permission to put the caller on hold and wait for the caller to respond, either yes or no. If you're responsible for answering multiple calls at once, always ask the caller politely if you may put them on hold. Remember, the caller could have already been waiting several minutes before getting connected to you, and many may not take it lightly that they're going to be put on hold again. Always check back with the caller periodically. The standard rule is preferably every 30 seconds. And for me, I would drop it down to 25, 20 seconds, especially if you're new. The caller wants to make sure that you are trying to find, you did send me to the right department. So never leave them alone on a long hold without checking back because this upsets the customer. And for sure, 99% will hang up. We always thank the caller for holding and apologize for the wait time if need be. You see, We as salespeople, we're so busy in our territories doing all things. We forget the home office is the anchor. And if something goes wrong with the anchor, it affects you back in the field. Sure, you can say that, hey, I didn't hire her. Yeah, she's bad. None of that works for the client that you're talking to because you're trying to justify with small talk. They just didn't get handled basic, basic information on how to talk to a customer on the phone. Once again, Brad at Hardison, President Champion Strategies, with our Hardison's tip for today, this beautiful Friday, the 11th day of June. And as always in parting, you go out and you make it a champion.